Parents don't give up. Parents don't give up. And don't poop their pants.
And that's what you get when you let your 6- and 4-year-old make your intro. Today, I'm going back into poetry, and out of all the ones that I could use, this is the least depressing, because apparently all my poetic creativity comes from sadness. Magically appearing glasses. The poem I am reading today, I titled The Craftsman's Fire. It was a prompt where we had to take any object anywhere and be inspired by it. So I chose my wedding ring, which I will explain a little bit after I read it. So, I'm always looking back at the pain that formed me, and always hoping forward to the next day and the next, like a black wedding ring, a full circle connection of enduring love, draped in valuable dark titanium. Despite thinking myself finished, I continued becoming a greater something. Much more character came, as time gashed and eroded. Instead of tarnishing or breaking, every mark revealed a brazen silver of resilience, hidden beneath the surface, surviving the crucible of life. I am poured out with less impurities with every pass through the fire. So, my wedding ring probably won't come off. Nope. My big, fat, swollen fingers won't let it. But if you can see it, it used to be black titanium with a rainbow strip of, when you heat metal, it goes into gradients of color from yellow, orange, blue, purple, and it had that going on in this groove that was in the center. And my wife has one that matches, except mine's rounded and hers is kind of boxed off. So if you want to know what it looks like, go find her. But mine, given that I worked landscaping for years, did a little bit of mechanic work for a tiny bit there, and a whole bunch of other hard labor jobs, the ring got scratched and scuffed and worn down, and it eventually turned into a silver ring. The rainbow is missing from the middle, but it turned silver. And so I used that as a really easy metaphor for kind of becoming something through hardship when you thought it was just going to destroy you, but in the end it just made you into something different. And parenting, when I thought of this kind of thing, it wasn't something that I felt like I was actively doing. For the most part in life, I found that I just kind of rolled through it and then came out the other side. And I know that there's a lot of people out there trying to help other people by giving them how-to manuals and do this thing for dummies and all that stuff, and trying their best to explain it, put it down on paper so that someone could read it and try to apply it. But when it comes to big things, big life things, you kind of just fall until you stop falling, take a look around, observe the damages, and then keep rolling. But what's interesting is, if you just don't give up, you'll end up as something better in the end. And it was fitting that it was my wedding ring, because in a marriage, you really do have to be there for each other. And if you're not there for each other, it's even harder to be there for your kids. Because not only are they watching you put on the mantle of mother and father and showing them what it looks like to be those things, but they're learning how to be humans just by watching you interact with each other. I think in the end, what my point is trying to stress and figure everything out all the time sometimes will hurt you, depending on what stage of life you're in. And if you don't have somebody else, if you're not married or whatever brand of that, there are tons of people out there that are ready and willing to care about you. There's plenty of places you can go for help of any kind. And I know that it can be hard to step out. My wife and I are every so often dip into that place where like you feel like you really need interaction with other people and you need somebody to help you out. But you've been lonely or detached or been stuck in your own head for too long that it almost is too much work. And it's kind of a cop-out, to be honest, but I'm only really saying it that way because I know it's what I need. I know it's what we need to do actively right now, me and my family. So as we do that, and as I see there's a need to call out for friendship and bond with other humans, maybe if you're in the same place, you could do the same. Maybe you could come find us, and we'll be unlonely together. Because I know that when something simple, like today, the kids didn't want to eat dinner. And I try to be overly strict with simple little things, like being excused from the table, just so that there's some form of structure that they could fall back on eventually when they decide to be wild and crazy and not listen anymore. There at least be simple little things like common decency and respect to your parents. And so there's this huge big deal about how one of them was just getting down and walking away. The other one didn't want to eat his dinner, was pushing it over and saying he ate half, but really he just put the entire section of food into one section of bowl. And I was kind of in the middle of a little breakdown, a mini explosion, because I had accidentally woke the baby up yelling at the other ones. And that happens, and I feel so guilty because my wife has dealt with the baby all day, and he's been kind of cranky lately because he might be early teething. And here I am, losing my mind over something silly, waking the baby up. And all the while, I know it's because I'm a little empty. I know that I need to go hang out with friends. I know I need to connect with someone other than family I've helped make. Because as much as you love your family, sometimes you need a tiny break. And so I started ranting like I do, and I started telling my wife that it's really hard to acknowledge my kids' feelings, more like the way they present their emotions, when I know that there's something wrong inside of me, and then here they are, unaware entirely of that, saying that their needs are very important, and therein making me feel like mine aren't. So it's like this horrible swarm of insects swirling around where I need to learn how to step away for a second, not make a big deal about things when it's really important to take care of my own emotions first. See, I'm only bringing this up because it's this situation that I hope other people are in. enough to be able to relate. As the intro said, it's just figuring that out, you know, and we can all figure it out together. And feel free to chime in, add anything you want in a comment or anything like that. I think I'm getting a little better at this. I mean, I learned how to cut out the ugly parts of videos, so that's nice.
Ugly part.
Hopefully I will get better with everyone, and you guys can be interested in talking about certain things. Let me know. Give me some material to try out, because I overthink and overtalk, but my poor wife is the only one that ever has to listen. Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. It feels nice to have someone be interested in listening to rambling. So I'm going to sign off for now and finally take a shower. So with that, thanks for coming by. Have a good night. Peace.